This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 540. The They Don't Tell You. 12 Things New Parents Need to Know, Part 2, by Dan Schmidt with nerdfitness.com. Happy Friday, old friend. I'm Joss Marie, and welcome back to the podcast that's all about the different relationships in your life. And just a little FYI that if you'd like motivational quotes, book recommendations, and way more, go ahead and sign up for our weekly newsletter right at oldpodcast.com. But with that, let's get right back to the show. Today, I'll be narrating part 2 of a post from Dan Schmidt. So if you're new here, go ahead and check out yesterday's episode first to hear part 1. That's episode 540. But if you're here for part 2, let's get right back into it and carry on with optimizing your life. The They Don't Tell You. 12 Things New Parents Need to Know, Part 2, by Dan Schmidt with nerdfitness.com. A continuation from Part 1 on what they don't tell you about newborns. Number 8, you will worry a lot. Yes, you think, obviously I'll worry. No, you don't understand. I'm telling you there's a boss behind the door that you don't know about. His name? The Worry. Cue the dramatic music. The worry is possibly the hardest and least relenting battle on the quest. The worry got me in the early quest days and still continues to reappear along the way. What if she dies? What if I die? What if my partner dies? I don't make enough money and never will. What if they've got, insert any disease here? What if they're Trekkies even though I've raised them on Star Wars? Team Valor is clearly superior, but what if they choose Team Mystic when they grow up? All important questions which will cause worry in any parent's mind. I've yet learned how to fully slay the worry beast, but I've become better at managing it, as many do with time and practice. But fact is, you will always worry, so try your best to accept and get used to it. You will think they're dying at least a dozen times in their first year. Kids get sick all the time, and even as they grow, they're always preoccupying your mind. They become your top priority, always. The other they don't tell you. It's not really that much of a change. You'll still do all the things you used to. It gets easier over time. Wrong, and kinda wrong. Number 9, your relationship will change. A lot. Lifestyle changes naturally occur with having children. A loss of freedom and loss of time together as a couple are challenges for all parents and can be overwhelming at times. You're both much more tired, worried, and overwhelmed than you've ever been before. You realize how much better sleep is than and you're no longer each other's top priority. Children can put a strain on any relationship, no matter how strong it is. You'll both start disagreeing more. Please remember that with parenting, there is often more than one correct way to do something. And traps will start arising in the most unlikely of places. Jealous your partner goes to work where they can rest, while you have to stay at home doing a much harder job. But if you're lucky enough to have someone pick up the weird third-party controller and make the quest multiplayer, your battles are going to be much easier. However, your communication and teamwork will always have to be top-notch. Number 10, having kids is totally optional. Obvious, right? I thought so too until I started speaking at preconception groups for young couples. You don't have to have kids because it's the right thing to do, or you're getting to that age, or our parents want grandkids. If you don't want kids, I must say after the week I've had, totally not a bad choice by the way, don't have them. Sure, those without kids may think every now and then, gee, I wonder what my life would have been like with kids. But I guarantee you, every parent also thinks, gee, imagine what my life would have been like without kids. Don't feel it's something you need to do to simply tick off the list. It takes a lot of hard work, time, sleepless nights, and money. It's okay to not have kids and be happy with your life. If you know it's not for you, don't kid yourself. This quest is optional, and not devoting an enormous part of your adult life to a single quest won't stop you from leveling up your life. If it's the right choice for you, it may even help. Number 11, you will change a lot. Your sleep habits are forced to change, your lifestyle is forced to change, your finances are forced to change, and you as a person will change too. Expect to become different. Boring, safe, sensible, tired, soft, and lame. And what's even worse is you'll love it. You will become way more empathetic. I got a little choked up this week by, of all things, a freaking Gulf store commercial. because you've now got a whole new perspective on life. Things you used to be so passionate about will take a back seat. Jerry Seinfeld put it very well when he said, once a man has children, for the rest of his life, his attitude is, to heck with the world. I can make my own people. To heck with the world indeed. My whole world is under one roof. Sure, I still view myself as a gamer, punk rocker, good husband, weekend golf pro, and outright geek, but above all, I'm a dad and will be for the rest of my days. Number 12. You won't be as great of a parent as you thought you'd be. Yup, sorry. That does even mean you rebels who are actually taking the time to read parenting articles and advice. We all start off with grand ambitions of being number one or world's greatest parent. But when reality kicks in, a lot of days, we'll settle for world's okayest parent. You're going to mess up, you're going to take a while to get things right, and you're certainly going to be that parent in the store one day. I've yet to meet a parent who's got it all together all the time. Even us experts are just making it up as we go along. As bad as I just made it sound, it's totally worth it. So, have I turned all you nerdy parents-to-be off of having children yet? I sure hope not. We need to be building a better, nerdier next generation. I don't want the world to become more like Idiocracy. In the scheme of things, the reason nobody tells you this is because a lot of it doesn't really matter. The smile on your baby's face when they first recognize you, the laughter and pure joy they get from rolling around on the floor with you, the wonder in their eyes as you do stupid dad magic, their name for you being their first word, creating and shaping a human life, that is the that really matters. Yes, choosing to take on the parenting quest instantly increases the difficulty, but in terms of the experience points and treasure you'll gain, it's so worth it. You'll rise to challenges you never thought you could defeat. You'll battle the bosses of teething, feeding, tiredness, and the dreaded worry. You'll constantly be switching between hero and villain, and even though you may lose a bit of your loot along the way, you'll have the best sidekick to share and conquer the lifelong game with. It's messy, terrifying, and really bloody tough. It's not for everyone, but those of us currently on the quest won't be hitting the reset button anytime soon. You have the most important job in the world. You're the boss of leveling up the future, leaving a legacy on this planet, and laying big plans for a better tomorrow. If you're up to the challenge, rise to it. For them, for you, and for the future of the rebellion. Future parents, what else do you want to know? Noob parents, what other weren't you told about? Leap parents, what wisdom can you bestow upon us? Non-parents, what does a hot meal taste like? Let us know. Dan. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled, The They Don't Tell You. 12 Things New Parents Need to Know by Dan Schmidt with nerdfitness.com. Thank you again to Dan. I laughed, I cried, and I nodded along in agreement to pretty much every word as I read this for the first time. I could go on and on about every point that Dan hits on, but one thing I couldn't agree more with Dan is that I 100% will not be hitting that reset button, ever. There's no place I'd rather be or person I'd rather be than a mama to Talon and Colby. Since I've become a mom, I've learned more about myself and grown more as a person than I did in all the 28 years before. My goal at this point is just to enjoy the ride because it's true what they say about time going way too fast once you have kids. And on that note, let's just wrap her on up. Thanks so much for joining me here all week. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you again next week, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.